Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Joe back at it with another episode of Era of the J. We're back at it right before the NFL draft. Laser's still overseas, but doing our best to make things work. So, what's up, Laser? How you doing?
Great, how are you?
Good, good. NBA playoffs have been fire,
Right, of
but
course. Yeah, we'll get to that later, but I think we got
yeah,
to get back on track with the NFL.
yeah,
Um, right, just saying like with all of our specials because we had to get to with opening day and the NBA playoffs. Like, yeah, we missed a ton of NFL stories that we have to get on to eventually. Like Tom Brady's whole plan to go to the Dolphins with Sean Payton. We missed that. We missed Bruce Arians retiring. We missed everyone's favorite quarterback trying to make NFL comeback. The USFL opening up with the whole ordering pizza scandal with them. Um, yeah, there's just a ton of stories happen. But this week's the draft, so we got to cover that. This will be our draft special,
right.
and
Just
then
very
we'll get
quick
back to the other
before we
stories
get to the draft. What are your thoughts on Debo?
on Debo. What do you
Where do you
I
think
mean,
he's headed?
hopefully Baltimore. I know it's never
No, I like
happening.
objectively, dude. Objectively.
Um, Objectively, probably the Jets because they've been trying for every single big wide receiver, and um,
But that's not
the,
going to get them out of the hole, though, right? Like, is it?
um, I mean their defense still sucks. I mean it's really all on Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson can live up to his expectations, then they don't even really need Debo. It really all depends on Zach Wilson, to be honest. But I
Uh-huh.
mean, it definitely helps Zach Wilson's progression if they have if they were to trade for
No,
Debo
why, why,
Samuel.
why? I was a little unclear. Why is Debo so upset about San Fran? I mean, they had a pretty good playoff run.
Right. It's not about contending. And it's not about money because San Francisco is willing to pay Debo whatever he wants. It's about
Right.
because it's about the role that they use him in he's very versatile. They use him in a lot of roles, and they use him in a kind of hybrid running back and wide receiver. And
He
basically,
doesn't like that.
right, he doesn't like playing running back because running backs, as you know, get injured a lot more and have a lot of a shorter leash in the NFL than wide receivers do. So
Oh, I see.
he's
Okay.
afraid he's afraid of that injury, and he wants to be played more as a wide receiver and considered more as a wide receiver, which would make him a weird fit with like the Ravens because they would definitely want to use him as a hybrid.
Right. So
But yeah,
maybe your pipe dream isn't so okay.
right,
Um. Yeah. All right. I see. But
all
okay.
right.
Fine.
Yeah. On to the. He may be traded on draft night, and yeah. Speaking of draft night, just saying this is like gonna be like one of the weirdest like most like unpredictable drafts in like history. Just saying, because like when you look at number one overall picks, um, like what you look at for franchise, usually like the first thing they're looking for is probably like the for their franchise leader. That's the guy there you look for number one overall pick. Like even if he's not the most talented or any more skilled, you look for the franchise leader. Like how the Cardinals picked Kyler Murray in the 2019 draft, a number one overall, even though he wasn't the most talented guy, they still picked the number one because just because of his leadership capabilities and the fact that he plays the leadership role in a football field, which is quarterback, and um and how the Browns picked Baker Mayfield in 2018 and so on. That's how you look for number one. And then
Right.
when you
So
have
which
yeah,
teams like desperately need a leader right now?
well, not well. I mean, I'm talking about the number one overall pick, and then the Jaguars don't really need that because they had the number one overall pick last year, where they picked Trevor Lawrence, and so they're really fine on the with that stance. But so what you look at next is most talented, like how or you're just not really needing, but like most talented guy, which usually comes first, like right. like Miles Garrett was the most talented in his draft class. He was picked number one overall. Or like so and the thing is with this, and then next you would look for is obviously need. So this year there's no, so the Jaguars have like needs at basically every single position, and there is no really consensus most talented guy number one overall. So I feel like whoever's going to be picked number one is going to be controversial, and no one really knows who is going to be.
Uh-huh.
Um, they what they ideally they would go with offensive line because that's what I mean. Every quarterback needs an offensive line, and the Jaguar offensive line was horrible last year. But they've addressed offensive line a ton in free agency, and um and um and they could feel comfortable without going with the offensive lineman number one overall. Um, right,
Mhm.
but so right, so it's probably down to maybe they'll still go with tackle. So Evan Neal from Alabama, most likely, or the guy from Texas.
Right, so they're going first round, you're saying?
They could go with tackle number one overall, or they could go with the pass rushers who may be the most talented guys. Um, which Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, or Trevon Walker from Georgia, who's been shooting up from of draft boards. Um, or they could be right, or maybe even Kevon Thibodeau, who the edge from Oregon, who everyone was saying was the number one overall draft pick before the draft, before the college season, but where now everyone's falling off of that. But so I'm guessing it's between those guys. I don't think there'll be anyone else in the mix. So either the tackle from North Dakota State, Akem Ekonwu, Ekwan. I hope I said his name right. Right, the tackle from Alabama, Evan Neal, edge from Michigan, Maiden Hutchinson, edge from Georgia, Javon Walker, or the pass rusher from Oregon, Kevon Thibodeau. I'm guessing it's between those guys, and no one really knows who they're gonna go with. Though I have a hunch it's gonna be the edge from Georgia, Javon Walker, just based off what the inside guys are saying.
Right. Do you want to talk about the quarterback class? And like who's on the hunt for a quarterback, and who do you think what's going to happen with that? Because I think that's like the one of the biggest deals for every draft is the
Right.
quarterbacks.
It's gonna be a really weird class this year because there isn't really a big consensus number one guy, and the guys at the top of the draft aren't really
Right.
the
The
teams that
guys at
are
the top are well, the guys at like the top prospects, like the first 20 are not quarterbacks.
right, and the guys that the teams that are picking first don't really need a quarterback this year. I'm saying that the Jaguars got Trevor Lawrence, the Texans have Davis Mills, the Jets have Zach Wilson, the Giants are
Right.
sticking with Daniel Jones for now. So the
Right.
teams
So
I'm
I'm
looking at
looking at
is
I mean, on this list that's in front of me,
uh,
the 23rd prospect is a quarterback, Malik Willis.
uh,
So like, yeah. So where do you see like that? What do you see happening with that?
yeah. So here
Um,
so this is how I see it falling out. I mean, pending trades. So pending trades, the Lions have are at picking at two. They're the one they need. They're the first team picking that needs a quarterback because Jacksonville obviously doesn't. Um, I would say that that they pass just because of the fact that they have so many needs on like everyone on the field. I'd say that they're gonna go with Aiden Hutchinson, especially if he falls to them. Um,
do they have a plan for?
he
Do the
played in
Lions
Michigan in
have a
college.
plan
It would be
for
cool if he would
quarterback?
just stay with Detroit. The head coach Dan Campbell's a defensive guy. I think they're gonna go with that, and then they have another pick. They have pick number 32 in the first round. I think that's where they go with. That's where they get their their quarterback potentially.
Right. Okay. I
But
see.
but I think they're fine. They're fine with sticking with Jared Goff, worst case scenario. So I think they won't pick one. So I think the first quarterback off the board is probably going to go 6,
Huh.
which is the Carolina Panthers, and I don't think that they pick Malik Willis because they've been very high on Kenny Pickett.
Right. Kenny Pickett. Yeah.
Kenny Pickett was um he has all the intangibles. He's like tall, strong armed quarterback.
So
His only really flaws are like rawness and
the
the fact
this the Sam Darnold thing
that he
is over.
has small arm.
Uh. s-
Most likely,
uh,
I think they're done.
okay.
Right. So like the only real down, only real flaw with Kenny Pickett is the fact that he has small hands. I don't know if that will really stop
I mean, that sounds a little trivial, but
Panthers from
okay.
picking him.
Uh huh.
So, but I don't know if people have been making a
Yo,
big
all
deal
right.
out of it.
Yo,
But yeah,
connection like
I
broke up for
feel
a
like he's the
second.
pick number 6. Then at number 8, the Falcons are picking. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, should I repeat that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Repeat that.
No, I just think the Panthers are going to go with Kenny Pickett because of what I said. And
Yeah.
then next picking is at number 8 is the Falcons. They're the next team I think that would take a quarterback potentially, and they may go with receiver, but they've been they've been rumored to be liking Malik Willis a lot. I can see him going there, which would be pretty cool because that's where Michael Vick played, and
Right,
they're
but
pretty similar.
that might have some potential because
With
they have a Kyle Pitts is his name, right? Yo,
right,
Laser. Yeah, they got Kyle Pitts over
yeah,
there, so they have some good offensive talent.
right,
So maybe they can be like maybe this
right,
should be like the rebuild. They could have a good rebuild here. We'll see, I guess.
right, um, right, yeah. Malik Willis with Kyle Pitts would be pretty cool. And then Calvin Ridley after this season when his suspension is over. Um,
Right.
right, um, right. So Malik Willis, by the way, I think he's like the biggest wild card in the draft. They're saying like because of the fact that like we don't really know if his talent's gonna um so we're um we don't really know if what of how he's playing in the how he played in college is gonna
If it's going to carry over to the
Joe, you
NFL.
know the word?
What?
I guess carryover, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that I
I
mean
guess
that
carryover.
that's the big problem with any draft, dude. Like that's how every draft works. Like you have your draft busts, but like I don't know.
Right, but this is all right.
What was
Sorry,
like what I'm trying to think like what was like the
he's been more
biggest
raw.
like what was the biggest like draft bust? Like what guy was like I'm trying to remember like recently what was like the
Or
biggest like this guy is the next like superstar and then he comes to NFL and he's just for shit.
I mean, Sam Darnold was pretty bad.
Yeah.
If we're just going with recent, I think Sam Darnold might have been the worst recently. Also, there was this prospect, right, Josh Rosen, which we spoke about on previous podcasts. Right, Josh Rosen, that was definitely was supposed to be really good. He was a potential number 1 overall pick, and then when he got to the NFL, he kind of just like sucked. He fell to number 10 with the Cardinals. He looked just like throwing picks everywhere, and didn't really get a chance to be fair. But whenever he got any sort of chance, he kind of just blew it through picks. He's on his 4th team now. But like of all time, really, I mean, there was this quarterback pick number 1 overall by the Raiders, named Jamarcus Russell. He was one of the he had a really strong arm. he also never really took it to the NFL, and it kind of stunk. And I don't think he even started a full season ever. Like I think he's been known as the biggest draft bust ever.
Like across sports history.
Uh,
All right.
I don't want to say sports history because the NBA is known to
Yeah, the
having
NBA has some good
the
ones.
worst the worst draft busts. But yeah, Anthony Bennett with the Cavaliers.
Oh yeah, that's
Um, Glenn Glenn Bias isn't really a draft bust, but he was taken #1 overall by the Celtics, and then died of overdose the next day.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I call that a bust or like I don't know. I don't know what I call that.
You know, but
Um
it's unfortunate circumstances.
yeah. All right, but
Yeah.
about this all right,
Um.
about this QB class. So what do you think happens to the rest? Who else do you think you see going for a QB? And
Oh, yeah, I just want
especially
to talk
since
about
they're
Malik
not
Willis for a bit, just
okay.
because. Wait, yeah, because he's a very smart guy, right? Again, and his dual threat ability, I think, is elite, and it's going to be awesome to watch and see. I think, right, he's very similar to Lamar, very similar to Josh Allen as well. Maybe that's why I like him so much.
That's
Um,
just that's the quarterback of the new era, dude. Is that
right,
kind of player,
right.
which unfortunately Mac Jones is not. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's why your Patriots will forever suck. But yeah,
I don't
and
know
then the
about
rest,
forever, man, but okay.
kidding. And the rest of them are also a bunch of wild cards that usually will just don't end up doing anything in the league till right, don't end up doing anything, don't end up getting picked till like the third round, fourth round, maybe even like second if they're lucky. But all right, then the rest of the guys on Desmond Rider from Cincinnati, he may be picked in the first round. Matt Corral, who was the consensus like best quarterback in the draft class, until he got hurt. He'll probably be like second, third round, and the rest are just the normal late round quarterbacks. Really, Sam Howell also he was supposed to be really good until he um until he had a really bad year last year. He's still declared, and he's going to be picked in like the later rounds. He
Right.
has a kind of similar story to Justin Herbert. Herbert also was like that, where he was supposed to be the #1 overall pick, and then he had a bunch of bad years in college, but he stayed in college
Yo,
after his
I
worst
didn't quite
years.
get that, dude.
Then
Can
he
you
had
say that
another
again?
good and was picked in the first round, and the rest is history. What?
Can you say that it was
No.
or bad connection, I guess,
From,
or
what was the last thing you heard?
something about not being good in college. It was Herbert wasn't good in college.
Oh yeah, Herbert. Yeah, right. Yeah. Justin Herbert was right. He was good. Right. Yeah, Justin Herbert. Yeah, he was good in college. He was supposed to be the #1 overall pick. Like the year before he was his final year. Then he was starting. Then he was playing worse. Then he stayed in college, and then he got his stock up again, and he was picked. He was picked in the like upper. He was picked in top 6 pick in the draft. I think it's similar with Sam Howell, except that he didn't go back to college, but he has the talent. He has a talent of a top 10 pick. Just his last year was really bad.
Uh huh.
But yeah, right. That's really it with the with yeah with yeah, that's really it with the quarterbacks. Wait, so yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Right. So being that you're a Patriots fan, what position do you want the Patriots to pick in the first round?
I want defense. I I would definitely put the emphasis on defense over offense here, especially after signing Devontae Parker.
Right.
I would say you got
Right.
to replace J.C. Jackson. You
Right.
know, you got to get some good cornerbacks. Just I think the defense needs a whole revamping, and also maybe I don't know, if I'm crazy, maybe even like a new defensive coordinator because that whole thing's a mess.
Well, they,
Um,
they don't really. Bill Belichick isn't really doing coordinators this year,
right. So I don't know.
offense or defense.
Right. Okay. So that's probably not going to happen. Whatever. But they should get some solid defensive talent, and there's a lot of good defensive talent.
Right. I in my mock draft, I had them picking up Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie, a cornerback from Washington, at 21.
Right.
But yeah,
Right. Yeah. So defense, maybe obviously a little bit of offense too, but mainly defense because you have, I think, with Mac Jones and Devontae Parker and Jacoby Myers, and Bourne, I think you're okay on the offensive end. I mean, it's not like amazing, but it's not as in dire need of help.
right,
Like the defense is just drowning right now.
right,
And so
um,
that's where I put the emphasis.
right, right. And just saying, like once we're talking about Boston sports, we got to talk about the basketball team, like the Celtics. Like what on earth?
Yeah. I
They're
think
just putting on a
it
show.
was absolutely crazy. Especially the thing that is crazy about it most is because these guys, kind of who I thought I wrote them off. Like even like Marcus Smart, his like in my mind his offensive ability was like next to nothing, and then like he's scoring some clutch buckets, man.
Right.
Like
Also his passing ability,
right. I mean, and
like that
Al
past
Horford in game two when the Nets were playing solid defense, Al Horford comes out of nowhere and it's raining buckets.
right,
I was like, holy shit. I mean, and for me, this whole thing just takes Tatum and Brown from tier 2 superstars to like tier 1 superstars, from going up 3-0 against a team who most people said would beat you in 6.
right. I just want to talk about how like I want to give a lot of props to Ime Udoka with the scheme. How he changed everything to make, or being that the Marcus Smart's the point guard, and the main issue I have with that is that he's a ball hog type of player. Well, he used to be, or he thought he was he could be a number one like scorer and have the offense run through him and have him in which it always would be a problem, and there would always be random games where he was just chucking threes and the clutch time moments of a game, and they would lose it. And there were a lot of games this year where they were just blowing leads. And just props to Udoka where he totally transferred the offense into and changed Marcus Smart's game into him being a true point guard where he can stack up the assists and he can actually make the right pass and get and pass guys open, and
Right.
where
And
the
like,
offense has totally changed, where the entire team is a pass first team, where it used to be where everyone would just ice out and just have play their one-on-ones.
right. Yeah, the passing is amazing. And where I see greatness in this team is the fact that every single player has been elevated. Peyton
Right,
Pritchard, Grant Williams, even like the bench guys who come in
right,
after the lead is solidified, they're raining buckets also. It's like there's a solid game plan that's elevated every single person on the team, and it's just and the way the ball movement it's pretty insane.
right. And then EMA with the defensive side. So like the thing with the Celtics is they're built around the concept of being very athletic. Just everyone's uber athletes. And when you have a very athletic team where there's no like big men who are just slower or like smaller guys who aren't so athletic, when you just have a bunch of athletes on your team, you can do what the Celtics are doing with their defense on Kevin Durant. Which what they do is that as soon as Kevin Durant is starting a drive, all all five defenders just go and crowd Kevin Durant and just have him being taken by five guys and make
Right,
every single shot he shoots is contested to the
right.
point where like
if Durant passes out, they're very quick on adjusting the whole defensive scheme. And
Mhm.
that's where I think the Nets kind of break
Sorry, I wasn't
down.
able to hear you. Can you
I'm
repeat
saying
that?
when you have the guys swarming Durant, but the thing is, as soon as Durant passes out, they make the adjustment in the blink of an eye. They've already made the adjustment, and then they're back on the regular defensive scheme. And I think that's where the Nets
Right.
kind of break down. Is that unlike the Celtics, the Nets are like Durant and Irving are kind of doing what Tatum and Brown used to do. It's kind of like you have Durant and Irving and then the rest of the team, and they're not flowing the same way the Celtics are flowing. And I think that's where we all knew that the Nets would break down, is that they're not a solid unit. Like even people who predicted that the Nets would advance this round, no one thought the Nets would beat Milwaukee, because the Milwaukee is a unit and the Nets are not a unit.
Right. Right. All right, and the best thing is that how Ben Simmons was supposed to make his debut game 4.
Dude,
Now
Ben
game
Simmons was
4,
on the sideline wearing something straight out of a Dr. Seuss book. Did you see that?
that was hysterical. Yeah, dude.
But
All right,
what is up with
I'm from
him? Why
Baltimore,
why
and
isn't he
I'm from
making
Baltimore.
his
Yeah, I'm from Baltimore, and orange, where orange and purple together should be a thing, and it's not, because orange and purple never works together. And Ben Simmons should not be trying to pull that off. Yeah, what were you saying?
But I'm a little curious what the situation is there, because I'm not exactly sure why he wasn't playing.
Well, I mean, first it was he wanted to needed to amp up, like you have to get ready to play. And then after that, well, I mean, after he was traded, and then he had a back issue as a setback. Then they're trying to time his debut to where it's most comfortable for him. But
I mean, dude, it's a do or die
I guess
situation.
being down
You're
3-0
down
isn't
to, yeah.
right. Right, being down 3-0 is not the best time to bring someone in to be ramped up
What, he's
for
gonna
nothing.
crack under the he has like PTSD from the playoffs.
Right, and I mean
Oh
there is no
God.
if there's no tomorrow really for them realistically, so they're not gonna play him for game 4. So they're probably not gonna see him until next season, if we're being
Dude, do you think
honest.
the Celtics do the sweep, or like the game 4 kind of is like
Hopefully.
whatever?
Nah,
Do you think
I mean
they're
I don't
fully
expect
on for
I'm
game 4?
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
They want the sweep badly. I mean Kevin Durant won. I mean come on, the Celtics Nets big rivalry.
Yeah.
I think they want to do it.
Now, do you think if this team right now was let's dial back to 2018. Do you think if we kind of redid that and you brought in LeBron and the Cavs versus like the Celtics now, do you think it's a different story?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Celtics easily win that series. The only reason they lost the series is because they were so young, and LeBron was able to take advantage. Well, I'm sorry, I mean like Jason Tatum could do what LeBron was doing, with that Cavs team, and LeBron did not have anyone other than him on his team. While JT has so many other guys who can just take over a game as well.
Right. And we also Peyton Pritchard, by the way, is exploding, dude. Like
Right,
he's become a great asset off the bench. Like,
right. Payne Pritchard and Grant Williams are going to be
yeah.
like legit players, like maybe even like all stars one day. They
I don't
already
know.
have
We'll see. That's the thing, though, is
or
that
they already have
the
like
thing with being a Boston guy is you're always worried that like the OG Celtics are just gonna like pop out of nowhere, and then things are gonna like, you know,
yeah.
like you're worried that, I don't know why. It's always just like paranoia that things are gonna like break down again. I don't know, but
Should be fine. But
right.
yeah,
And do you think they're playing at? Well, I mean, so what happens now if they have to face Milwaukee? Like, how does that pan out? Like in your mind?
if it's, I mean, Milwaukee is hurt with Chris Middleton out. They're not playing so well offensively. I feel like the Celtics have a great chance, and they're definitely the team to beat in the East. I don't know about in the whole league because the Warriors are going nuts.
I mean, yeah,
They have a new member on, right? They have a new member on the Brothers with Jordan Poole. I mean, he's been
right.
crazy.
I
Like
mean, that means you got three.
he's
That means you
been
got
such an awesome story.
Clay, Steph, and Poole. So that's pretty insane. but
Huh?
or you got Clay, Steph, and Jordan Poole,
Right,
which
they
is
have
pretty insane.
also right.
But
Right, Jordan Poole has been an amazing story.
right,
Last year he was in the G League, and then to go from that to this year, like a third star on a team.
right.
The Warriors are stacked.
Do you think the Celtics would have
I'd say they're
a
probably
defensive
favorites.
plan for Giannis?
Yeah, of course. Same as KD.
Same as
It's
KD.
easier because you don't have to defend him until you don't have to defend him until he gets close. Also,
Right.
Robert Williams will be in, so I'm
Right.
assuming
Okay.
they'll try having Robert Williams one on one. Maybe they don't even need to do their whole defensive scheme where they all crowd on him. But there's not really a lot of, and also the Nets have way better depth, where they have a lot more guys who can beat you
Right. I mean,
than the Bucks do
s-
really. So
speaking of
now that
depth on the
Chris
Nets,
Middleton is hurt,
right?
because Chris Middleton is hurt. Yeah,
Speaking of
he's
depth
out
on the
for 3 to
Nets,
4 weeks.
all
Yeah.
props to Blake Griffin for doing everything he can. He literally came out of nowhere. But so all props to him. He
Right.
played good basketball, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
Right. Yeah, the Nets have a lot of talent. I'll give them that. Their stars are kind of choking, not playing cohesively, not playing well enough.
Yeah.
Because Kyrie Irving should be able to go off being how tough of a defense they're playing on.
Dude,
KD.
Marcus Smart shut down Kyrie. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was.
Between Marcus, right?
Yeah. I mean, Kyrie had
between
15
right,
points in game 3.
right,
That yeah.
between defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum, the defense has been insane. And they're only getting better on defense now that Robert Williams is coming back so early.
Right. And now the problem is that Al Horford, if Al Horford is if you're the opposing team, Al Horford's also a problem. Every single player on the lineup is a problem. It's pretty insane, but we'll see what happens. Comparing, what do you think?
We gotta get back.
Right, just one last matchup.
Sorry,
what do you think about Boston versus Philly? What about that matchup?
If that happens, I mean, they've been playing pretty well against Joel Embiid. They're good against the Sixers in the past. I don't trust James Harden to be able to do anything. So same kind of thing with the Nets. Just swarm Embiid and make the rest of them beat you. And I don't trust
And the
James
rest of
Harden to
them
beat you,
can't.
so they should be fine.
Also, I think
Right.
Also, I'm pretty sure they'd be able to play defense on James Harden the same way they're playing it on Kyrie. I don't think having a second shooter is an issue.
Right. The only team in the East with a really bad matchup is the Heat. The Heat are a really bad matchup because there's no real guy they're gonna alpha guard. It's gonna be a bunch of 1-on-1s. And
right.
I don't know if they'll be able to beat that. I mean, Tyler Hero might just destroy you with the threes. I kind of have PTSD from 2020, from the bubble year, when Tyler Hero just destroyed us. Also, their defense is really strong.
Right.
I think that would be the toughest challenge for the Celtics to be on.
The Celtics did lose to them even during the whole hot streak. I don't know if you remember that game.
All right.
The Celtics lost to Miami during the whole hot streak when they went 20-4 or whatever.
Right.
One of those losses was Miami.
Right.
But yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's looking to be a solid. It's looking to be solid playoffs though. Pretty insane stuff. But all right, yeah, we got to get back to the NFL here.
Right. So yeah, you want to just talk about? Let's just talk about who's gonna be picked in the top 10.
Okay.
And then we'll first, yeah, just like the Ravens, they're sitting at 14, and just so quickly, they kind of got a blessing, being so hurt as they were last year, the draft pick, and 14 I feel like is a really good position for. Yeah.
Hey, you there, bro?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir. Right. Being that being right, 14 is a really good position to like be that to get like a lot of like if stars would like a lot of like high talent players fall to 14 a lot.
Uh-huh.
So that's right. That's a really good spot to be picking. Um, right, well, right. Sorry, so yeah, back to the top 10. Well, right. So number one, I think Trayvon Walker will end up going there. Then two will be Aiden Hutchinson, like I said, and then number three for the Texans. I think they're all aboard with Davis Mills. The tackle from Alabama. I think they're gonna pick him at number three. And then all right, number four. I think there's right number four. I think the cornerback Ahmed Garner, who lit it up at the combine. He's freak athletic. He's like really good. I think that the Jets are gonna pick him because right, their defense definitely needs it. And they need the defensive help. Um, all right, their offense is pretty much fine. I mean, they have Corey Davis and Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios for their receiving core. Michael Carter is a good running back. They have Zach Wilson. And they've been drafting with their and signing free agents with their line. They kind of stacked that up. So I think offense they're pretty much set for now. I mean, it's good enough that they can pick defense here because I feel like defense is a bigger need for them right now. Um, then and number five, I think the Giants are going to take the other really good tackle Akem Iguanu from North Dakota State. I think they're going to want to give Daniel Jones the best shot to succeed. Or number six, I think the Panthers. I think they take the quarterback. I think they take Kenny Pickett. And number seven, I think the Giants are picking again. And this time, I think they go defense. Kyle Hamilton is there. They just lost their safety, Peppers, to the Patriots. I think they're going to take Kyle Hamilton. He's been shooting up draft boards. His draft stock's been shooting up. And then number eight, the Falcons. This is probably one of the more tricky picks. They signed Marcus Mariota. I'm not sure if they really trust him for quarterback or they're going to go with wide receiver.
Right. So
So
it's possible that the Falcons go quarterback there.
Right. So this could be Malik Willis, or this could also
Right.
be
But
wide receiver.
Seattle has the next pick. Do you think they're going to go quarterback?
We'll get to them in a second. I don't think so, but wait a second. Right. So I think number eight. I think they're Atlanta might pick Jameson Williams from Alabama. He would have been the consensus first quarterback to come off the draft boards. But he had injury problems. I mean, he had that injury in the championship game that really like hurt his draft stock. But apparently his rehab is going really, really well, and he may be a top pick. It looks like. And it looks like he'll be the top wide receiver taken. At number nine, I think Seattle. I don't think they're gonna take a quarterback. I think they're gonna ride it with Drew Lock, which I love. I think Drew Lock's really good. I mean, he deserves a chance. He's awesome. He's like nice, scrappy guy. And I think they're gonna take Kevon Thibodeau just because of like how much he's dropped, and they need pass rush. They need help with the pass rush. I think Kevon Thibodeau would be great for them. And then number 10, the Jets are picking again, and they're gonna double down with their defense and pick edge Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. Right. So that's I think with the top 10. I think yeah, if you want to see the rest, I posted the rest with my mock draft.
I actually like gotta
Make
get
sure to
going
check
right
it out.
now, but
Right. Okay, fine. Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Fine. Make sure to.
This was legit. Hopefully we'll be in person for next episode.
Yeah, hopefully that will go way smoother.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was good. All right. So I think that's a wrap for today, though. But
right. Make sure to comment. Yeah,
hit us up. Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter. YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
What's the email?
fatnoodle222@gmail.com. So you could send us emails if you want to write a whole monologue or whatever. We'll be happy to take it.
TikTok.
Yes. Check us out on TikTok. I didn't post last week, but I'll put up this week. Hit us up. All right, signing off. It's your boy Joe,
All right.
and we'll see you
Yeah,
next time.
Laser.